Out is directed and written by Rian Johnson and stars a slew of characters, which include Daniel Craig, Don Johnson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette, Chris Evans, Christopher Plummer, Ana de Armas, Michael Shannon, and a lot of other people that I just can't think about right now. But anyway, if you saw the trailers in the past 6 months, you know it's a whodunit. Who killed Christopher Plummer's character, Jamie Lee Curtis's father? Who did it? It's a whodunit, and it's like a board game of Clue. They even say that in the movie, like, oh, this is like a board game of Clue. And now we got to figure out who done it. So what I like about this movie, I did like the actors, and I did like the atmosphere. And of course, the little things like the directing is good, of how everything's put into scope and the score, all the witty stuff going on around there. But it is the actors and I think the atmosphere that make this movie lift it up. The actors are all, they do their parts well. They know what they're doing. I mean, they're all standout. Everyone's saying it's either Daniel Craig or Ana de Armas are the standouts. I mean, you could say that, but everyone else played their parts well, and you know their characters, and they're all believable. Let's put it that way. They're all believable. And the atmosphere of the house is fun, neat, and just witty. It's a fun, neat, witty house, and it's crazy stuff going around in the house, the crazy decor and everything. It is kind of fun to look at. So, speaking of Rian Johnson, I have not seen the Star Wars Last Jedi, so I cannot fault him on that movie, which a movie I haven't seen. But I've seen Brick and Looper, and I like both those movies. But I think this is his third out of those two. So, I do think this movie is overhyped, overlong, and overwritten. So let's go with it. Overhyped. It is overhyped because the critics were saying it's one of the best movies of the year. It's like it's a 4 out of 4, it's a 5 out of 5, and I'm like, okay. But then some of the other newer, like the critics that came out really in the beginning, I think it was October, like, oh, this is anti-Trump. This is like, just shows Trump's America. And I mean, it has a couple of scenes of political dialogue of like the families fighting of, some are on the left, some are on the right, and they fight about, immigration, everything like that. And it's like, yeah, I bet you families like that do fight in the real world. So I really can't fault the movie for saying that. And then for critics saying, oh, it's anti-Trump, it's like, I mean, Rian Johnson could come out and say, yes, it is. And I'd be like, okay, then it for sure is, which he might have. But as a whole, it could be just Rian Johnson saying what America is like right now. And there's some dialogue like this happening in the real world. But there's that. Overhype, overlong. Overlong is because I knew the person who I was the whodunit. I haven't seen it. I didn't know any spoilers. But if you pay attention to the trailer, pay attention to the first frame of the movie, and you pay attention to like kind of like where they're explaining everything, like the very first 20 minutes they explain the storyline of what they heard at what times and what's happening to every character. You should know who done it at that point. You're like, that's who done it. And I was right. That was the who done it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And I'm done at the 20-30 minute mark, so maybe that's why I thought it was over long. Because for a whodunit, I know who done it way too early on in a 2 hour and 10 minute movie. So let's go with the overwritten part. I think Rian Johnson, I'm not going to fault him for anything, but I don't know if he thinks that he's smarter than everyone with some of the stuff he writes on paper, or he just thinks we're not as smart as him. I don't know, because some of the dialogue, it's overdone and it does show a message. For example, 2 characters are never interviewed. Pretty sure it's Meg, the daughter. Maybe she is. I don't remember that much. Like, maybe he's not. Maybe she's not, sorry. And then the son with the phone. The son with the phone maybe has 10 lines of dialogue in the movie, maxed. That's max, 10 pieces of dialogue. And they call him a Nazi, an alt-right troll in the movie because he's on his phone. I don't know. He's on his phone, and Meg and Toni Collette's character calls him alt-right troll, whatever, and a Nazi. If you're watching my first reaction, they overuse that word. But Daniel Craig then at the very end calls him a Nazi, but he never even met the kid. He never interviewed the kid, but you still call him a Nazi. Stuff like that kind of grinds my gears, whatever you want to call it, that stupid phrase. I was thinking about Family Guy, that episode. But I don't know. Stuff like that's like, why would Daniel Craig call him a Nazi when he never even met the kid at all? Like, there's not a scene of dialogue with Daniel Craig and the kid together. So some of the writing aspects of like that doesn't make sense. And they don't flesh out, like I said, they don't really flesh out Meg. They don't flesh out the kid with the cell phone, but they do not flesh out, which I think is more important, Ana de Armas's mother. She is an illegal immigrant, and what suddenly happens in the movie where Ana, she's kind of flipping out of like what to do, and she's kind of, you kind of know which way she's going, and her sister is like, yeah, we're yeah. But the mom, she knows this is not right. This could hurt the family. This is not a good thing. She might be one of the smarter characters in the movie because she knows the downfall of what could happen, or the situation the family's in, and what they're about to get into. And everyone's saying it's a satisfying ending. I don't know. It's one of the things I got to think about. Is it satisfying? I mean, you could say the good person comes out up top, but I mean, there are some people in the family, I don't think they've done the dad wrong. Like, I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis has done the dad wrong. And other characters, maybe, like I said, it's a long movie, but Knives Out, I'm kind of struggling now because it's like I've already said everything. So there might be some jump cuts here and there. But Knives Out, strong actors, strong atmosphere, strong direction. I would have to say, as a whodunit, I'd know whodunit. So, but Clue is a better movie. So Knives Out will receive a 3 out of 5 Blue Futons. It goes at 60%. So let's see the critics' news scores that gave this film. So you have critics at 96% with 136 of them and no audience score, because technically the movie doesn't come out until the 27th of November. But here's critic consensus. Knives Out sharpens old murder mystery tropes with a clean, assembled suspense outing that makes brilliant use of the writer-director Rian Johnson's stellar ensemble. It's supposed to be a whodunit. The whole point of the trailer was a whodunit. Who did it? I know who did in the first 20, 30 minutes. So that kind of defeats the purpose of a whodunit when you know who did it. I never second guess my decision because, like I said, if you pay attention to the trailer, you pay attention to what some of the characters say of what the timeline they heard, who was at the house and who wasn't at the house, and what some of these things do to some of the other characters. It's not that hard to figure it out. It's not the best movie, the picture of the year. It's okay. So do you agree with the 96 or the 60? Chase like the Blue Futon. Comment, subscribe. One more thing is Blue Futopia. You Blue Futonians. Thanks for watching and have a great day. And do you want a hint? Mickey, come here. Come here. Come here, good boy. Come on. Yeah! You can do it. Come on. Are you a good boy? Oh, yeah. Come here. Oh, yeah. Oh, buddy. Come on. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Here's your hint.